What's that saying that goes third time's a charm? Well, this is the third time. The first test you might recall with Ubuntu 22.04, I believe, I had no sound. In fact, the output device said dummy output. I suppose that was an appropriate statement to say when you have no sound in Ubuntu. The second time I tried installing it with Ubuntu 24, well, it froze. So I thought, let me go back to the original PC that had Ubuntu 22 or trying to let that run. But this time, what I did, I used the original hard disk drive, not the SSD. And to my surprise, this installed with no freeze at boot. Uh, don't quite understand it. I would never recommend you install a heavy system like Ubuntu, relatively heavy system like Ubuntu. Never recommend this. You put this on an old 12-year-old hard disk drive. But as you can see, I would call this, I don't know, an acceptable success, I guess. So if you take a look here, this is Ubuntu 04.0402, of course, LTS on an old gateway. This one had originally Windows 8. The processor is an AMD A652 APU. Yeah, this is from the dinosaur age. Maxed out with 8 gigs of RAM, but it works. This is GNOME version 46. I believe 47 is already out. But it wouldn't make any difference if I had the latest GNOME. This wouldn't really run any faster. Like I said, again, this is on a hard disk drive. I believe this is a Western Digital. Let's go to disks and let's see what we have here. All right, so I am dual booting this with Ubuntu with an L, and this is a Western Digital, 500 gigs, and it says here that the disk is okay. So we'll leave that the way it is. All right, so this is a quad-core machine. Default Ubuntu, I don't think is designed for beginners. I think installing programs like tweaks should be mandatory to make it easier for beginners. I think having this drop-down start menu, application drop-down, should be standard in Ubuntu for beginners at least. And another thing, I had to go through unnecessary and multiple steps to enable to install GNOME extensions, which I think are completely unnecessary and somewhat difficult for beginners. And I don't personally need this, but I just think this makes it easier for beginners. All right, so let's take a look at what I have installed here on this 12-year-old gateway with the original hard disk drive. I am amazed how, I won't say fast, how acceptable this is running. But let's take a look here. Favorites, accessories. I did install Stacer. This is a very cool looking performance monitor cleanup tool for Ubuntu and other systems. And yeah, this is one of the tools I use to speed up the system. No startup apps, and I disabled some processes here to speed this up, and that's why this is running okay. Let's go ahead and quit out of this. The uh, the software I installed here, it's just, this is just some of the software I would use if I was going to use this every day. My main system is on a Dell with Linux Mint. All right, so let's go to graphics. Not much there. Internet. Google Chrome, I think, runs faster than the default Firefox. I also installed Brave. We go to other. Simple screen recorder does work. Sound and video. I think VLC should be installed mandatory for all Linux systems and, of course, in Windows. I do like Audacious, the lightweight music player. System tools. Again, we have GNOME tweaks. This will help you tweak your system just to make it a little bit easier for beginners. Fonts, appearance, and all that, sound, and mouse, keyboard, windows. Yeah, very easy to use. By the way, I do like the look of the default colors and fonts and all this. I think this looks fine. Let's see. I did install CPU Power GUI to let this stay on performance to max out the performance of the system. I think it's working. It seems a little bit faster. All right, what else do we have here? Utilities, and here, I don't believe I installed anything here. I did use the terminal to do some software installations. You don't have to if you are a Windows user. I'm just used to this after so many years, but I can't promise you will never have to use the terminal when using Linux. I can't do that. Well, unless, of course, you have a Chromebook, then you never have to use the terminal. But that's an entirely different form of Linux. So this is dual booting, like I said, with Ubuntu. In fact, it has that uh, SSD mounted automatically in Ubuntu. I can also access the files in here if I need to, but it's not really necessary. So I think with this, I can just right click and unmount, and it has been disconnected. All right, let's make sure the recorder is still running. Uh, okay, looks good. OBS Studio did crash once or twice. I had to do something in the settings, and it seems to be running okay now. So I'll leave that the way it is for now. We're almost done here. So as far as this goes, I got it to work. Again, this is on a very old, 12-year-old desktop PC. Again, Linux can save your outdated hardware from the trash heap or from recycling it. Again, this is acceptable in the way it runs. It's not as fast as Ubuntu or Linux Mint Mate or even as fast as Windows 11. And I'm sure if I was to install this on a SSD, it would run a little bit faster. Although the way this is running now, I am pleasantly surprised. Now, again, with some tweaks, another tweak I did here in the display settings, there is no way that this would run smooth at maxing this out resolution at 4K. No way. Normally I have it at 1920 by 1080. For this test, I'm running at 1360 by 768. Yeah, I tried it at 4K, and once I do that and turn on fractional scaling, this thing just crawls. Not the fault of Ubuntu. It would run slow in Windows 11 too. The processor just is not update enough or fast enough to handle 4K. I still prefer Linux Mint Mate, Zorn OS, Ubuntu Mate, and Chromebooks for beginners. But Ubuntu with the proper tweaks, and if your system doesn't crash or freeze or say dummy output, I think this is perfectly acceptable. So if at first you don't succeed, try again. That's it. Catch you on the next one. Ciao.